Good afternoon, Suzuki families. I hope you're doing well today. Happy Friday. I hope you're ready for the weekend. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the bass guitar. There it is. It fits in frame just enough. There we go. As you can see, it's quite a large instrument. It is, I think, taller than almost all the students here at Suzuki. It's also a bit heavy, so when you wear it on a strap and kind of are up on stage playing it, it can get a little bit tiring on your neck and shoulder muscles. And I would know, because from about 13 or 14 until I was in my mid-20s, I was actively playing in at least one band playing bass here in Atlanta. So all the way through high school and my years of college and things like that. Now what kind of music we played varied depending on the band, but it was all, kind of rock alternative stuff. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what the bass does, what it, how it sounds, what its role in a band is. I'm going to play an example that hopefully will come through the speakers pretty well. And I'll let you know what that song is in just a second. Now, the history of the bass. All right, so the bass guitar is kind of the next step, I guess, into the modern age from the upright or double bass, which is used in orchestras. So if you ever look at an orchestra and you see people standing up with a very, very big wooden instrument that's taller than they are, that is a upright or double bass. It shares an instrument lineage with the guitar, which comes from Spain. So I guess basses also probably didn't come from Spain. I always thought it was Italy. That's neither here nor there though. So there are a few differences in orchestral basses versus violins, violas, and cellos. Because basses, like I said, share an instrument family with guitars and other instruments like, actually like the ukulele and the cavaco, cavaquinho, and things like that. Whereas the cello and violin and viola share a family that have things like the viola da gamba and the violon and things like this. So they are from two separate instrument families, but they are also stringed instruments. The easiest way to tell the difference between basses and violins, violas, cellos is the size. They're huge, but also the way that they're tuned. Now, I've already got this one plugged in. You see this cable. It goes to a little box that I have down here called an amplifier. I have that turned on. I'll turn the volume up here so that we can hear. Okay, so you kind of hear what it sounds like. The bass plays fairly low instruments. You can play it with your fingers like I do, like this, or with a pick, a guitar pick. Either way is absolutely fine. So orchestral basses and electric basses are tuned in what we call a fourth. So we have, if we played it like this note here is E, so if we played an E scale, E is note 1, note 2, note 3, note 4. That fourth note is the same as my next open string, okay? And then same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So tuned in fourths. Violins, violas, and cellos are all tuned in fifths. So that's one easy way to do it. The other easy way to tell the difference in at least the family lineage of basses versus these other instruments is in these right here. These are called tuning pegs. Pretty much every string instrument has tuning pegs. I can't think of one that doesn't have some sort of peg device. They might look different, they might function a little bit differently, but effectively they all do the same thing. They pull and stretch the string, or they relax and let the string be a little bit looser. Now, electric basses and upright orchestral basses have what's called a machine head tuner. Here we go, let me see if I can turn. There we go. So, you can see here, right here, we have a little cog, or a little wheel, okay. And then we have this post. Now inside here is a screw. So you turn this post to the left or to the right. That will turn the screw will turn this little cog. And then on the other side, that little cog is attached to this post that the string wraps around. And then it turns to the left or the right, either tightening or loosening the string. Now, violins, violas, and cellos use what's called a friction peg system, where the peg starts out thin and gets thicker the further it goes down, closer to the top of the peg. So when you tune one of those instruments, you have to turn the peg and then also push it sideways into the peg box in order for it to tighten. Violin, viola players have to learn how to do this with the instrument up on their shoulder one-handed. It's actually quite difficult to learn after a while. But that's neither here nor there. Back to the bass. Now the bass's role in most popular music, pop, rock, jazz, R&B, soul, country, anything like that, is to be part of what we call the rhythm section. The rhythm section has two players in it: the bass player, who plays the bass, and the drummer, who plays the drums, honestly. And but the more important drums, at least for a bass player to listen to and lock in with, are the kick drum and the snare drum. Now, I happen to have one of each of those. Let me show you what they look like. Okay, this is the kick drum. As you can see, it's pretty big. It makes a pretty big low sound. Okay? They call it a kick drum, not because you actually kick it with your foot, but there is a pedal that you push with your foot that hits the drum. That's what they call it, a kick drum. So you do actually use your foot in some way. And this is what we call the snare drum, okay? It has these cool metallic metal wires in the back, so when you hit it, you get that really neat percussive sound. I believe snare drums and bass drums actually originated in the military. I'm not positive about that though. I know that they were used by people in the military a very long time ago. So now what do I mean by the bass player kind of listens to and locks in with the drums in the rhythm section? Well, that's where our example today is going to come in. This is a song called Army of Ancients by a band named Dr. Dog. Now, I'm going to play the bass part myself for you just so you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to sound like first. And when I play it, if you can't hear it well, play it at home. This is a really great example of the rhythm section being so tight and locked in together to get a really nice foundation for the melody, which is, in this case, is the vocals. That's what plays the melody. And then, you know, our harmony instruments like ukuleles and guitars, pianos, things like that. So the bass is going to have this kind of okay. It's in a time signature we call 6/8. It has what we call a swing feel. So you kind of can feel it in 6, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Or in 2. 1, 4, 6, 2, 6, 3, 2, and 1 and 2. Either way. But let me play you the example. I'm going to try and hold my computer speakers up here kind of close for you. Now, it's very hard to hear, so I suggest that you listen to it at home. But that bass line, that ba-doom, ba-doom, locks right in with the kick and the snare drum. So he'll either do like a kick snare, or cha-boom, the backwards way with the bass, ba-doom, ba-doom. All right, that being kind of locked in is really what the rhythm section's all about. They set the tempo for the band, so how fast or how slow. They set the feel, so swinging, like I said, that kind of versus bum 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 bum, which is like a straight ahead rhythm. I know I've talked a lot, I've kind of rambled a little bit. I'm sorry about that, this is not scripted. But this is one of my favorite instruments ever that I've ever played or owned, for that matter. This and the ukulele are my two favorite instruments that I've ever played. I've probably played this instrument longer than anything else in my life. Well, maybe the viola, but yeah, I got my first bass when I was 13, and I'm 30 now. So it's been a couple years since I started playing, and I still enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. As you guys get older and you want to start exploring other instruments than just, maybe piano or violin or ukulele, if you take those here, look at bass. It's a cool instrument. It's really fun. It is a little bit hard to pick up on the front end because you have to learn a lot of things about music theory to really play it effectively. But aside from that, like I said, it's a great instrument. It only has 4 strings, so it's simpler than guitar because guitars have 6. So with that, thank you for coming and listening. I hope you have a nice weekend and stay healthy and safe, everybody. Bye-bye.